it worth? Oh mein Gott.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to sit up here and talk like this here, because if I don't talk like this, people will stop listening. No, wait a minute. I mean something else. We're going to get started with the second half. We have Shem kicking us off. He is the last word. That person always kicks off the second half and then closes down the show. So, are you ready, man? He's smiling over there. He's ready. So give Shem a round of applause. The collegiate closer, super duper bulldozer. How do you even have to get boring and sing?
All right.
You're tall.
Yeah, well, you can arrange that. You're a professional. You believe in everything you say and do.
Right. I'm a professional at something.
Yeah, look at you.
Somebody gives me a paycheck.
You have the look.
Yeah.
The look, you know what I mean?
It's like a Los Angeles movie producer or something, right?
You need to write a book.
Okay, I've been trying to figure out how to say this one out loud. It's been challenging. It's called. It has nothing to do with coffee, by the way.
Darn it.
The last one I'm gonna do has coffee in it, but that's later. It's called ipso facto, or whirlwind, tunnely, wormholey. Anyway, here it goes. Within each millimoment of temporal existence lies hidden a secret space, and just a single span of attention reveals all creation's inner nothingness. As I rides this universal steed at the speed of light, straddling a continuous and curving saddle, infinitely contorting, distorting all proportions and perspectives, I am the face in a 16-year-old Albert's imaginary mirror. An affirmative that feels almost absolute, yes? But then again, the endless ineluctability of recurrent falls from grace, angelical, diabolical, multisyllabic, tragicomic brilliance, ipso facto cast-offs, outgrown chrysalides of innocence from whence a revealing resilience often unfurls, which, in the sudden leap of a hasty churl, exceeding all prior limit demarcations, accelerates the protracted journey back, almost closes the gap, a final end ever nearer, but in no sense is it any clearer. So, in a sense, you're like destined to be manifested in me as I transmigrate your inner sense of imminent dissolution and senselessness. Like you're no longer there, and the nest is empty, and the crow is scared, and all the gold has turned back into straw, and you finally begin to see like a blind man who's picked up his hammer and saw. Because the event horizon is my stomping ground, and I must be the luminiferous ether that could never be found, and the whole is black and looming, hungrily plundering all the secret family recipes and heirloom seeds, long forgotten in a dusty strong box in a corner of a musty room with a rusty lock, and the key was either lost or entirely consumed by wet, salty air. And the whirlwind, tunnely, wormholey breath sucks and blows it all out in one shattering release, scattering so many broken memory pieces. Yet still in all we clutch and grasp and drag ourselves through time, like bleary-eyed centipedes on crutches. Okay. Free rubber bands and safety pins. The soles of my shoes keep coming unglued. Don't glue them like they used to. Maybe I should try Gorilla Glue or rubber cement or shoe glue or super glue or something. I like the glue names. I'm gonna need a lot of rubber bands to hold it all together when the glue's drying. Fat purple and blue ones that come on the broccolis and the asparaguses, maybe. If the glues don't work, I could maybe just put more rubber bands on my shoes when they wear out. The rubber bands, I mean. If I just buy more shoes, what's the point? Yeah, free fat purple and blue rubber bands. Just have to buy more broccolis and asparaguses. Gonna need a lot of rubber bands. Good excuse to eat more broccoli. You can get broccoli all year round. Don't know exactly why. I should have some kind of a season. These supermarkets with their worldwide airplane deliveries and transoceanic container ships with refrigerator containers. Man, merchant seaman's gotta be a good job. Wouldn't want to work on an airplane though. Claustrophobic. Get me disconnected from the seasons, the supermarkets and the transcontinental food deliveries in case you got lost. And the supermarkets are open all night on every aisle. Gotta stay away from the center aisles. Shop around the edges of the supermarkets, that's where the real food is. Anyway, fluorescent lights, can't even tell if it's day or night sometimes. Oh yeah, and asparagus, when it's in season. How come asparagus has got a season and the broccolis don't? Maybe I'll start getting all my friends and family and neighbors to eat more veggies with big fat rubber bands. Because all the walking around I do on these cement sidewalks and concrete streets wears them out quick. Gonna need a lot of rubber bands. Can't buy at the farmers markets, they don't use rubber bands. Speaking of rubber bands, used to be you could find safety pins all over the place too. Seems like these days the piles of free safety pins just up and disappeared, a thing of the past. Used to be I could peg my jeans with free face safety pins. Had so many, kept them in a half coconut shell I had my mom cut for me when I was about 7. Now I gotta buy them pre-pegged. The jeans, not the safety pins. Who ever heard of pre-pegged safety pins? Jeans manufacturers probably bought out the free safety pin people, make us buy more pre-pegged jeans, yeah. Maybe it was the jeans manufacturers who took away all the safety pins so we'd stop pegging our own and buy theirs, I don't know. Still got earwax though. Comes out of my own ears. Can't put a price on that, can they? Wouldn't put it past them though.
Thank you, Shem. All right. All right, just letting you know that for time consideration and people who came in, we're trying to go under 4. If you can do that, I'd really appreciate it. And now, let me read the next 5. We have Allie, Anna, Ed, Rob, Britt or Minnie, Hal, and then Rosie. You said Rosie, right?
Yeah.
And then Diamond, then Caitlin, then Garret, then Ashwagandha McMurphy, and then Paul, and then Shem. Did you want to be on there?
No, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, you let me know later on if it works out because you should be heard. All right, so Allie, give it a round of applause, please. This is Allie the Magical.
Okay. All right, this first poem is about Kim Kardashian, who I didn't really know about, and one of my coworkers is very, very obsessed, and somehow now I know every update. I know. So apparently she has 110 million followers on Instagram. Yeah.
Almost as much as
So she's kind of a big deal. No. But she wrote a book, and I've just been recently concerned, I guess, with the amount of really young teens, especially, who really, really idolize her and conflicted at my confusion because she is in some ways so powerful. So, short poem about that. Princess Kim, she's the selfie queen, master of 2 identities and 2 coming of ages, an online one and a real one. And forever and ever followed by girls wanting to be pretty too. Notice how their sex can be economically useful when sexy but tasteful. This isn't a modern morality play, don't worry, just tragedy. First one.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
all right, it's called Red Balloon. The girl in the yellow skirt smiled at her grandpa. He held the red balloon. The girl could hold a red balloon, but her cup of milk absorbed all focus. Tiny fingers became white with spills sticky as Elmer's glue. At school, her friend Maggie taught her how to rub the white glue on her hands. It would dry like a lake bed in summer, crack on her soft skin, and peel away like blisters, like stickers, like year after year of elementary school. When do people start asking us if we are sure? As if it would be natural to doubt ourselves so much. The girl hates being asked if she is tired or if she will really drink all that milk. The grandpa hates being invisible. The girl hates being seen. She blows bubbles in the milk she drinks until it's frothy as a milkshake. He laughs, she giggles. No, they are not tired. And yes, they want a red balloon, and together they will drink all that milk.
Yeah, very.
Okay, very short.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'll save this one for next time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Give Riley a round of applause. Very kind of her to contribute time. I really appreciate that. And the Anna Wool is now going to come before your very surprised eyes. Give her a round, please, as she comes up here. I'd like to say the Anna Wool, not that other one.
This is called Pomegranate Seeds. Daughter, oh daughter, have you eaten? Have you eaten of the fruit from the world below? Mother, oh mother, I have wandered alone all night and alone all day. I came to a city, and there I did eat the fruit of men with feet of clay. Shuffling in circles down by the bus stop, their jeans smelled of urine, their jackets of wine, their suits smelled of money on corporate time. Their cocks smelled of lies, their skins smelled of cash. I licked a salt tear, and I swallowed a laugh, and I told them a name I forgot the next day. But daughter, my daughter, you did not swallow the seeds of the fruit from the world below. Long have I grieved since you were lost. The fields won't bloom, they can't pay the cost. Oh mother, you're late with this song of woe. Long have I slaved with the yes and the no, with no ground below and no help from above. Long have I worried over money and love. From the stage to the hot tub with the man of my dreams, I have swallowed and gagged on what is not what it seems. It was salty and good, it was bitter and bad. It had me, it held me. I was ripe to be had. I have sworn I won't eat of the fruit of the vine till I eat it with you in some other world. So I've starved at the banquet and forgotten my name and dissolved into dust with the flowers in the lane. I've gone topsy-turvy with the bull in the barn, and I've painted my body with gold from the mine. I've knelt on a stone and eaten bread from the street with the oppressed classes and the opiated masses and all of their brothers' marching feet. And yes, I have swallowed the seeds that you seek. Then, my daughter, you must wander forever between the earth and sky, never wholly rooted in either world, not quite a wife, not quite a whore, your legs wrapped around the earth's molten core, your brain cells scattered across the heavens, pleading with Pleiades to sing once more. Oh, mother, you're late. You're so late with this show of grief. Long have I known of this split in the world. Below, the seed, above the leaf. In the sun, the woman her smile unfurled, a garland of praises, a robe of white satin. Below, the girl, alone with her blood, shadowed by curses unrobed and unsung. Now mother comes, weeping and wailing. How far has it gone? Has it entered your womb? How far has it gone? Is the taste on your tongue? Oh, daughter, my daughter, is the damage done? Through this crack in this world, I swallowed his seed, and I was long confused between my want and my need. I know they call me a goddess because they think I am dead. But I know I'm a goddess because I still live, because I descend and I give to the now and the then, the where and the when, the movement of sunlight and flowery glades between the street corners and the gutters of shades, because I wander and wonder and spread myself thin, because I kneel to Hades and reach for the moon, and my thighs are lutes for the stringer to tune. My toes all a-twitter like birds in the spring. My fingers grown diamonds to sew in the sky. They shine like angels between the wicked and the wide. The damage is done. The seeds are sown. It was bitter. It was sweet. You are what you eat. I've been down here all winter, and I call it home. But mother, don't fear. My husband is near, with a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no, with a ring and a ding and a tring-a-ling-ling. Oh, how we will dance and how we will sing. Oh, how we will dance and how we will sing. Oh, how we will dance and how we will sing when I return, in my turn, on my own, in the spring.
Oh. Deanna Wolf, ladies and gentlemen, nice round that. Edward MyQ. Give the Honorable Edward MyQ a round of applause as he approaches the speaking platform. Remember, try to go a little short so we can do this. Mr. Edward MyQ, the honored young man coming forward.
Telephone poles all along the tracks. Some telephone poles fold into the light in my private geography. Out of the side windows of the sea of poles, a skeleton waves at me out of the spray and vanishes, then reappears under the arcing sun. It is like a chain of accidents going clippity-clop, cloppity-clip, and saying over and over, stop. We are dead. Stop. We are dead. It seems to say. And I seem almost to believe in this dream I have again as a child, again. And it's not that I'm frightened, critically in fear. Who can be totally afraid when there are telephone poles all along the tracks, continually folding and bending back up straight again? But it makes me tense to be included in contrary tides, or to be near chimney fires or solitary playgrounds. I am all alone, like a train moving through trees, landscapes, telephone poles, through life. Since we speak the same language, we do not speak. Since we see from similar eyes, singularity splinters into millions of mute islands of secret care we fold into lies when the throb is uneven. Into my private world at night, I climb the wet grass to where once the world seemed wearing out. Now there, how carefully the cactus comes out to play the red dot. There, the funeral of flame, day, drawn in, descends into a warm darkness to the fragrances of 1,000 hues of need, unsatisfied. There, living is torn apart like waves of islands drifting from one shore to another. Here, across each new thin leaf, falls the mesh of shadows, and century after lost century into a darker night, because we speak the same language we do not speak.
The Honorable Ed Maiku, before your very eyes. All right, Rob. Thank you, Rob. He's very patient with me. He reminds me of my brother, being very patient with me.
I did not know that.
Well, yeah, because you know, I could have not been here several times were it not for him. I'm only kidding. I'm just making things up.
I have younger brothers, so yes, maybe I know exactly what you mean.
All right.
All right. Another. I was ready for her to want another man, ready to encourage her thence, to make her hormones happy. I would knock down any fence, to expand her loving knowledge, to perpetuate receiving and giving. A new friend for her, and maybe me too. Of such is a life worth living. I watch this greedy, possessive world. I watch and pity it. I was ready for her to want another man, but wasn't ready for him to be an idiot. Homo SS. Covering earth with feces and fumes, covering our sex in shame, turning bloody, dispassionate death into a glamorous video game. Bequeathing our babies isolation and fear. We toss them into the flame. Then we invent God to absolve ourselves of the blame.
Ain't it the truth?
And finally, zillion dollars. If I had a zillion dollars, I'd get a massage every day. I'd turn the places where people pray into places where people play. I'd turn beauty parlors into booty parlors, and all the saloons into blue lagoons. I would buy all the world's money and burn away every scrap. No, I said that wrong and the rhyme scheme is going to be screwed up. I would buy all the world's money and burn every scrap away. Then I think everyone would get a massage every day.
Thank you, Rob. Short and sweet. And now our mini of the evening, Mr. Adventure himself. Britt Peter. Give him a round, please. Our mini of the evening, if you don't mind me saying so. Even if you do mind me saying so, I already said so. I'll say more, but it's his turn to talk.
During the last week, I discovered that coffee showed up in poems almost as often as Trump and childhood misery. Quiet urge, too. The room was not cold, Christmas Eve morning, nothing like Vion's Paris loft. The door opened a crack, a spattering of golden insistence, a spattering of words within, replayed, allowed to stand. The notebook stacks never followed up. This was different, an unannounced beginning, Orion's setting, strong coffee, the sleeping house. Play. The wheel and the kiln behind the stucco cottage, Ruskin and William Morris long dead, but plates, cups, and pitchers can be crafted from the colors and shapes of the day. The narrow trench, shards and brooches will tell our history too. The daily practice of this constant rite, your strong shoulders, the treadle's rhythm, the magic wheel and hands that gently dip and retreat, and the signature design fashioned from leaf fall, bird song, and street noise scratched in. The cup glazed and fired, the sensuality of the smooth lip, the well of the cup, the ribboned interior lines, the circular walls hold, dark liquid within. Put hands around the potter's gift, this configuration, this backyard creation, warmed by early morning coffee. There's no coffee in this one.
Darn it. How am I going to
A
win?
frantic wind, music, war, YouTube. News brought into the home, away from one more war, told this. The clown and the mad dog at work, John Bolton as Iago. The falling buildings, the lethal engagements. They are fighting like they have never fought before. Only I can do this. I love war. All done in our name, as guilty as any nation. Ask the children under the rocks. Hear the beseeching fathers. See the mothers in rags. See the faces against the fence. And on YouTube, the emphatic fiddler speaks of Heifetz and the abyss. Ivory Gitless, a hidden Zodic, so old that he says what he wants, gathers the audience's attention. I'll do the Bach. I'll go to the edge. It's in my contract. The cliffs of Bach's Chaconne, the insistent variations, the harsh chords, the worker's smock, the devil's fiddle, these forces, these craggy landscapes, these moving scenes, a convergence in a worried mind. The listener cannot be still. The interior imposition of war scenes. They are from Abel Ganser's Je Accuse, the monumental tower, the graves opening up, and we have it there on YouTube scans. The wars have us. The Chaconne has us. Ivory says, I'll finish this. The crab's claw, sustained hold, the repeated wars. The ghosts are marching again. The sonorous voices of Gans and Bach rise above the staff, flow through the frames, moving. The old film plays again, smoking light from the projection room. All before our eyes, a visual and sonic understanding. Can you feel the ghosts moving through you? The pulling, the many wars, the undertow, the resonant storms, the propelled sound in the Chaconne, the drone of the last note. From stone to gray, transparent flesh, war ghosts are passing through the countryside.
Britt Peter, ladies and gentlemen, our mini feature. Thank you, Britt. I appreciate your generosity, as I do think. And now, as you may well know, or may not well know, or know poorly,
Or just about to know.
just about to know, the person who does the keynote reads a poem by someone else, and then they always come back in the open mic. So Hal Robbins is going to come back again, as I say, in the open mic. For God's sakes, a man who's Irish is almost as Irish as I am, and today not Irish at all. It doesn't matter.
Well, this is a short one. Home Thoughts from Abroad by Robert Browning. Oh, to be in England, now that April's there. And whoever wakes in England finds some morning unaware of the lowest boughs of the brushwood sheaf around the elm tree bole are in tiny leaf, while the chaffinch sings on the orchard bough in England now. And after April, when May follows and the whitethroat builds and all the swallows, hark how my blossomed pear tree in the hedge leans on the field and scatters on the clover blossoms and dewdrops at the bent spray's edge. That's the wise thrush. He sings each song twice over, just lest you think he never can recapture the first fine, careless rapture. And though the fields look rough with hoary dew, all will be gay when noontide wakes anew the buttercup, the little children's dower, far brighter than this gaudy melon flower.
Hal Robbins, he is taking the attribution sheet as is our wont. And now, someone who hasn't been here in some bit of a moons, right?
Yeah, beginning of January.
Okay. Welcome Rosy Berryessa, please. A veteran, long-term person, a survivor. A person who remembers me from before I knew who I was.
Me hi to a goat or something.
Well, I don't know. I just say things. I just say what my mind says, and that's not my fault. Come on.
We know each other in a couple of different worlds.
Yes. There we go. Now we got you. Perfectly.
Okay. All right. Well, I think for this moment, this was something a student gave me many years ago, and I never used it. But now.
But now.
And when I used to have my car, anyway, I used to be inert. which is a neighborhood emergency response team person here in San Francisco. There must be something over in the East Bay that is the same. And also, it made me think of NERD. I'm sure there's a lot of meanings for that acronym, but the most recent one that came up for me was Neo-Educated Retards Development. Okay. All right. And
Oh, I got it.
also, when I was last here, which was the beginning of January, I think.
Yeah, Januar.
Yeah, and I read a poem that ended up being part of, so I want to do a plug here, for Endangered Species Enduring Values.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think somebody may have read something from here.
Yeah, I think
An
David
anthology of San Francisco area writers and artists of color, edited by my buddy Shiz Siegel. So I did want to read something from that tonight, and then I have an absolutely antique, archaic poem of mine that I'm going to read. And every time I come into town, it seems like you need a hard hat because there's so much building going on. You can't keep track of it. Oh, and there's one other thing I know. I really have got to mention this because I used to teach, right at New Traditions here. But something is closed in the neighborhood that I didn't realize, and that is White's Gallery. Eugene White.
Yeah.
And
did he pass or?
no, Eugene's alive.
Yeah,
I keep track of him on Instagram.
Oh, he's good.
Lynette.
Tell him I said hi.
Okay, well, it's Lynette and the granddaughter Tracy, and anyway,
Yeah,
I just tonight coming in here, I saw that. Oh my God! And when I ran across fast, it said another gallery is going to open. But I just want to have a moment for Eugene White, who has got a lot of this stuff featured over at the Ella Baker Center. So, okay. This is actually about my mother. I did not write this, but this is by Jennifer Nugent, because we got Mother's Day coming up. My mother was college-aged when she fled Vietnam in 1978. She was never able to get a formal education, but she is the smartest person I know, possessing an infectious wonder when it comes to learning. The list of things she has managed to teach herself is impressive. Guitar, English, installing hardwood floors, navigating a new country, making weird handcrafted fruit baskets with watermelons, and raising 2 American daughters in Houston, Texas. The list is infinite because she is constantly learning. When I returned home during a recent Christmas holiday, my mother had taught herself how to route the basic functions of our house through her smartphone. Any of my attempts to turn up the heat was immediately vetoed by my mother with a push of her iPhone. There's a lot more, but I'll leave you with that as a cliffhanger.
Woohoo! The adventures of technology.
Yeah. Just one thought came to mind. I'm sure this kind of stuff is on many people's mind, but do you remember when sketchy meant an integrated neighborhood?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Wow, that word has changed.
Yeah, the gentrifiers took it over. All right. Coming from somebody who got displaced from her hometown after serving children in San Francisco for 20 years. But going backward in time, this is a really old form. It's a sestina. And was a moment when I wondered what I was going to do in my life. And it's called waiting. There's always this sense of expectancy, no period, yet, and not wanting to fly into daydreams or nightmares of forced blood, sucked bone, dry by machines, loss of personal control. I need to feel that I control the events inside me, all processes, and a sense that mind can bind whole a fractured bone. Mind is the head of homeroom, first period, attendance, counting the days. A nightmare is 10 tardy days. Nature is wanting. swollen breasts all full up, and nature is wanting to explode. Relinquish all control to innermost sources. The nightmare rides along in the dark, using tactile sense to guide her through this period of waiting. She snorts and chomps a milk bone. I've got a rabbit's foot, a wishbone, talismans gathered to bring me what I'm wanting, wishing for a short sentence, imperatives with periods and exclamation points. Who is running this control tower? Biology beckons and I'm led by sense, which has no rationale. Very yin dark nightmare. Who'd have thought a friendly joining could cause a nightmare? That such enjoyment, the pleasures of the bone, the full expression of all physical sense, could turn to desperate wanting of bloodlet. I've abandoned control of this body, hormones surge, and no period. Whatever the outcome, I'm making this decision, period. Time passed, allowing a lover's input just increase the nightmare to the screamth degree. The control factor lies pulsing inside these hallowed bones. Interconnections between heart and mind, all wanting balance, made by blood of truth, essence.
Thank you. That's Rosy. We go back a long time in the school district. Not in the same school, but we can tell stories. Sometimes they're unfortunate. Now, Dave, did you want to do something? Yes, you? The other Dave that's fine. So give him a round of applause. He comes up here. We'll get him started.
Many years, and that sister up there who kicked it off so many years ago. Who am I talking about? Who are we talking about? She's right behind you.
Oh, Johanna.
All that history. Well, the history is in the books. Her story. Well, that comes out of the women's movement of the 70s. We have a story too. Her story. So I have history, her story. But what I'm doing is now I reached 80. Anybody older than 80 here? Once again, I'm the oldest guy in the room. That's what I got to get used to, being the oldest guy in the room. But here I am. And I have so many memories. Nothing's ever changed. 30 years and it's still a bookshelf. Janet now here and not sitting behind the table. But everything else, here we are. Time has no meaning here at the sacred ground. We're just getting old and look around. More gray hair, less hair, gray hair, there we are. Is that right, brother?
That's right. That's right, Jay. That's right, brother.
At least a quarter century. At least a quarter century. Hey,
At least.
But, so here I am. It's so bad to be here. My name call has been a while. But I'm soon to believe. But there's no accidents. Everything's connected. We're here where we're supposed to be, and that's the way life goes on. Here's a poem about it. Just by chance? Not too likely. Just because the reason is now unclear doesn't mean we won't know one day. Hang on, hang in, follow the stream right down to the sea, look, see the stars, and really see the sky. Undeterred. Here's the line of that on there. Undeterred. That means not stopped. Like conventional thinking, short-sighters, death was blind to the spirit. I'm talking about naysayers, killjoys, wall builders, door slammers, vision slayers, doomsayers. You know what I mean? Scribes and Pharisees of science, theological engineers. Both this system of things. But no one. Sphinx that flows, figures of stench, eyes glow. In the night of the living dead, the poets were made alive. walking down that tension wire, looking up to one another, just snowing down that moonlit path, that good red road, dreamweavers, spirit menders, healing the pain, soothing the silent screams, warriors of the rainbow just singing a freedom song. It's about this. It's about being darkest just before the dawn. That when and where you least expect it, help will come along, like green shoots, dusting through the damp, dark earth. Love will spring anew, life will spring anew, just breaking through the ice. Well, I just want to, I want to wrap this up. I want to wrap this up with some words that came to me, only 3 lines, just before I turned 80. Everybody here is facing being 80 years old one day, if you make it. Facing being 80 years old one day, if you get there. So just before I turned 80, I'm thinking, oh man, now, oh, it's all over. I want it behind me. And then the Spirit speaks to me. What? And here's what she said. In fact, if you guys like to participate in this good participating thing, repeat after me. Learn to love.
Learn to love.
Love to learn.
Love to learn.
This never ends.
This never ends.
So that's it. Like yeah.
All right. Thank you, Diamond Dave, a historical person of note and fame. And now, Caitlin. Is Caitlin in the house?
I am.
Caitlin, will you come forward, please? You've been here before, haven't you? Where are you?
I guess I'm the oldest.
All right.
Everybody else is sandwiched in between.
Yes. All right.
Oh. Now you're not a guitar player, are you?
I am.
Guitar player.
Ukulele. You know this.
This is not your. Is this your first time here?
Yes.
First timer, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, let's go. The Apple Noise on the table.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Dave
Well,
told
we're
me
happy
about
to have
this.
you. We do that to welcome you, so you don't feel. You may feel like these people are nuts, but you're not afraid.
Oh, I'm nuts. It's okay.
Okay, good. Good. And then you're at home.
Yes, definitely. I feel it. Thank you all. I wrote this for my Poetry for the People class. It's called A Story of Creation.
Hold on a second. I'll get really close.
Is that better?
Yes, good.
A Story of Creation. The whipping winds of Bernal burn. My left eye sheds a warm tear. Evaporating evidence of my boiling waters. Steam rises, filling the sky with fog. Swelling across the cities, seeing all. Aching to feel movement in the hills. As it was. Rocks, dirt, grass, birds dancing in the wind, unbound by the scars of human interaction. Once gardens of Eden, now pigeon palaces. Some say they've paved paradise. Borders between reality and construction, made of blood and concrete, though some call it brick and mortar. Water holds memory of those erased by time and treason against the land. Humans in motion leaving trails of estrangement. I study the land before me, taken from those who knew not of the civilization to come. To seize one's home, to uproot. The soil is not ours, but Creator's. And who is white man to claim the brown dirt as his manifest destiny? It belongs to us, to all, to creation. We are but creations, one with the all of the all, until they conquer creation, dividing the all into sums. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin, and come back when you can. We do this every Wednesday. Strange as that may seem. All right. Next, we have someone who is well-known, well-regarded, highly esteemed, humorous, serious, and he has a way of just making things interestingly funny, even though they're seriously and not funny. Garret Murphy, if you kindly come forward, please. Then we got Paul on the harmonica and Shem as our closer, just so you know. Here comes the mighty Garret Murphy. Give him a round as he approaches the mic, ladies and gentlemen. And you might have to raise it up. All right, and then I'll adjust this as need be.
Okay, mirror image. You come to the mirror. There you are on the other side. The reflection of what might have been had your world been different. Looks familiar, does it not? And yet there you are, looking at yourself as yourself looks at you. Clearly one of you is seen from the heights, as the other of you, though perhaps content as well, somehow in a way seems to look and long, and the one may inquire if this was worth it. Your two selves stare at each other and decide it indeed was. You mutually smile as you come to terms with each other and possibly say, look at us now. You indeed they make the right choice. Walter Mitty, you are not. Kanye, can ye not? Kanye, can ye not take a walk, a shower, a nap, or just a hike? Only one steeped and stranded with a chump in Stockholm would call his ancestors' ordeals a choice of their will.
Hey. That's the guy he's talking about is the kind of person you want to just say, shut up.
Yeah.
Will you just shut up?
Oh, you mean the president?
Well, him too. And what's his name? Giuliani. Will you just shut up?
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you, Garret. Always sit timely and focused. Paul, and then we got Shem as our closer, and then these fancy prizes. He wanted to give us a little number here, which he shall do.
I shall.
Shall.
I was intending just to sit and listen, and somehow I got dragged up here kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming.
But I'm here, so I'm gonna play a song with my harmonica, and hopefully my harmonica is agreeable. And I'll stand over here. I don't think I need this thing.
Okay, all right, but let me just focus on you so I have you in tune there. And now our closer of the evening, Shem, is closing up. He is the last word who always kicks off the second half and brings it to a close. The Honorable Shem.
All right, so there is coffee in this poem. You just have to wait for it. My simulacra do not fit inside your letterboxes. My emoticons do not reflect your pixelations. My unhinged front doors skulk around the edges of your banquet hall campaign dinners. My forest floor mycelia often appear bemused by your chewing gum stained sidewalks. My earthworms thrash about in your cracked concrete rain puddles. My good hair, when oiled up and shining, sublimates your disdainful glances. My itinerant amalgamations interpolate your purposefully designed algorithms. My inner crunchy Beavis feels simultaneously repulsed by and drawn to your outer creamy butthead. My market-driven cycles of therapeutic release get tripped up at every turn by your swarms of deep data-driven drone hordes, 3D nanoprinting endless piles of neo-Freudian desires every time I risk it and step out from under the protective shield of my inner sanctum. My adverse childhood experience survival maps pair exquisitely with your trauma-triggered psychotic interludes. My heart dreams, clouded over by probable coronary artery bypass surgeries, ache for your laparoscopically removed gallbladder insights. My inner sense of nothingness, smelling of ozone and tobacco, desperately needs a hug from your engulfing sense of self-righteousness, oozing red wine rage and heat rising in waves. I give it a good practice throw, and my kidney stone skips 19 times across to the farther shore of your steaming pool of bile. My awkward approximations of antiquated analog interfaces are not quite capable of successfully coupling with your carefully crafted drop-down menus of indefinitely recombinable mood textures. But the resultant ripples of distortion and static can be surprisingly genuine. My melancholy personifications of condemned 20th century brick tenements harsh the swoony buzz of your anthropomorphized ant colony high-rise micro-apartment complex with incredible walk score aspirations. My rootless cosmopolitan nonchalance unnerves your hard-fought provincial sense of well-rootedness. The fanning cracks in the corners of my rose-colored sunglasses reveal infinitely recurring fractals of your harsh realities. And like a cunning linguist caught in somebody else's glass bead game, I revel in the gratuitous pleasures of submerging myself in the reverberating staccato rhythms of a crumbling empire's lingua franca steeped in the street creoles of creative resistance at the bottoms of the turtle stacks. I talk my smack, drink my coffee black. No cream, no sugar, just put a little bit of cinnamon in it.
Shem, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now I'm going to